Tango 1 at the top. We are at Pop-Up Vehicle. 10-4, Tango 1. You have control. Tango 1 copy. Stand by. Stand by.
Integrity, passion, resilience. That's what this place was built on. That's what our community is founded on. Don't act like the example, just be the example. This is the home of the greatest fitness community in the world. We're trying to create strong, able bodies, resilient to injury with a gas tank to get shit done. If there's one thing from this podcast, it's about taking immediate action, find the problem, fix the problem. This is your opportunity. It's either a hell yes or a fuck no. It's that simple. You're ruining the Tango 1 podcast. Now is the time to take action. Now's the time to do more and be more.
Welcome to Tango 1 Podcast, everybody. I'm your host, Tony Smith, former SWAT team leader, now the owner of the Garage Gym at Tango 1 Solutions, always joined by guests who want to encourage you to do more and be more, create immediate action plans against your weaknesses. And I am bringing on a guy, one, because he's Irish, and two, because he has helped me create an action plan and take action against my weaknesses. One of my weaknesses was wealth planning and strategies and thinking outside the box. So my guest today is Kyle McDonald, aka the Empire Maker. He's a longtime friend, which we will get into lots, and somehow along the way turned into kind of my wealth coach, I guess, for lack of a better word.
Strange.
He's a real estate investor and a serial entrepreneur. He also has a couple, he's got some creds behind him. He's the International Real Estate Hall of Fame. He's got an award for creating Massive Impact Award, which is from the Inner Circle Investment Group. And dude just retired a couple weeks ago at the ripe age of 45. So this guy has a ton to offer us. So I'm looking forward to this talk. And Irv's clapping me on the camera. Irv, who shows no emotion, has had 2 whiskeys today and has more going on about him than I've ever seen. So anyways, without further ado, let's get into this. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody, and welcome to the show, Kyle.
Thank you. I think we need to rebrand today. It's like the Mick Tango 1. Because it's
Mick Tango 1, I like it.
St. Patrick's Day.
I like it.
And this is now an annual St. Patrick's Day thing.
Really? Every St. Patrick's Day we start here
with pre-pint here and get an interview in and have some fun.
Yeah, we had a couple of pints. We had almost a drink with everybody on the staff this morning. We had one of the guys who's a great client of mine, but also like a super kind of ahead of it business guy come in and meet with you. I kind of like pride myself on being the plug, being the plug between like making connections.
You ambushed me this morning.
Yeah, I ambushed you, but it's gonna work out in the end, I think. So this show, man, I want to talk to you about like growth. I want to talk to you a lot about the courage to think different, because I think like in so many states of the world, we think super different about things, whether it's fitness, nutrition, business ideas, but very few people think differently when it comes to building a wealth. And when I say wealth, like we can talk about what that definition is, but I think we really a lot of us are very pigeonholed into how we try to like save money for the future. And you've changed my view on that. But like before we get into all that shit, let's talk about the kid that grew up in small town. Fucking, where is it called?
Bryanston.
Literally, I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
And I know you've told me that before, and I read it again on your bio, and I'm like, I have no idea where this is. So tell me, where the hell is that?
It's a dirt road in the middle of nowhere. 59 people when I moved out.
59?
Yeah, when I went to university, there's no population sign, but it was 59 people. Yeah,
Wow.
Dirt road, middle of nowhere. You blink, you miss it, keep on going.
And I know 2 of those people.
You do. You've been introduced to a couple characters
Huddy.
from Huddy. Yeah.
Is there anybody else from there that I know?
I don't know if I've ever introduced anybody else. But
Josh is not from there?
No, he's from way up north.
Oh,
yeah.
all right.
But yeah, Huddy's the character from the hometown.
Huddy is the character.
He's from a dead-end dirt road. And I was from like a through dirt road.
Oh, that's
so
the
you
difference.
drew.
So you're a big city. You're a big city.
I was big metropolis. It was an intersection. That was it.
So, all right, man. So, like, at what point? So you own, let's say, 1 million properties right now.
Yeah,
it feels
a couple
like
million proproperties.
But
So.
you own a ton of properties.
Yeah.
Like we're talking like plus 250.
That's a lot. Yeah.
Like so a lot of doors, and like that I've come to know about you guys, the real estate investors, is like properties don't mean doors. Like doors are doors, which means like in one property you could have multiple doors.
Yeah, we talk in doors. We don't talk in individual properties.
Okay, so like make that clear for people. So Kyle owns a lot of doors, way more than 250 doors.
Actually, maybe not now. I'm putting a bunch up for sale.
Really?
Yeah, cashing out.
Interesting. So let's bridge the gap between Kyle, small town Kyle, and I know you have a real interesting story about that too, about some hockey player that And let's it doesn't even matter. We don't want to talk about money, but how many properties, and like you've become this like real estate mogul, for lack of a better word. So at what point do you like start wanting that, and how does that all become, I guess?
See, I never know.
In a nutshell.
Okay, well, there you go. I was going to say, I don't know where to start.
No, man, just start wherever you want. Wherever it goes, it goes.
I've always been interested in real estate. My family was in real estate long time ago, World War II, building homes, blah, blah, blah. And the story goes is that my great-grandmother, 9 kids at home, my great-grandfather was working on oil rigs down south. And he, in his off-season, would build houses. And one day, my great-grandmother decided she could build a better house for cheaper.
Your great-grandma?
Than my great-grandfather.
Really?
So she used his money against him to start her own construction company. And everyone fought her, and everyone said she couldn't do it. And it ended up, everyone who said she couldn't do it ended up working for her. And so my great-grandfather, who works on oil rigs, he's just this massive man of a man, comes home, and his wife with 9 kids towing behind her has started a company against him. And long story short is they just combined forces and they built a lot of houses.
That's unreal, especially if you consider like
back in the day
the gender roles of females in 1944. We're talking I'm assuming we're talking 40 to 1950ish.
Yeah.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
I was really lucky to know her, so it was kind of.
Yeah, and you knew her? Did you know her well? Like,
I was young. I was probably like age 13 when we lost her, but yeah, she was tough.
And she's Irish?
No, she's French.
She's fire, absolute fight. The only thing.
But can you imagine towing like 9 kids onto a construction site and then telling a contractor in the 1940s, like, do it this way?
A French woman? Yes, I can imagine that. Yes, I can.
Yeah.
Very much so.
So that's the story, and that was kind of my influence. And then one day I just woke up. I had a bunch of businesses, and I was thinking I was creating wealth, right, by owning businesses. And really what I was doing was just creating jobs for myself. And I just woke up one day and thought, this isn't the way. I need to go back and think, how do wealthy people think? Like, I need to be able to apply those practices to my life, even though I'm not wealthy at that point in time. So that was it. And I just went and took these high-level courses and applied what they taught me. And I did this part-time. I had a full-time job while I was doing all of this.
Which is wild. I mean, being a guy who's owned like a handful of properties and the Airbnb and stuff, like it is like, so overwhelmingly like somebody was on this podcast before, I think it was Joe.
Yeah. And
he was talking about like you really need like 13 or 14 properties to be able to hire a property manager to fund that. And until that you get to that point, it's really chaos.
It's chaos. It still is chaos.
So let's go back to the business thing, because like I remember a few of your businesses. Yeah. So there was the tanning salon at the university.
Half-baked tanning,
right?
Which I own with other people. It wasn't just me. Yeah.
Where I was a client.
I don't know if you ever
paid no money.
Did you pay?
So this
all I know is I see on the camera it's like 2 a.m. and Tony's walking into the tanning salon
after having a few fucking pints.
What's going on here?
Yeah. So how Kyle and I know each other, which is a pretty funny story, but also like really lends to how much you've grown in terms of like your business and your empire. I like to call it, because I really think like, like being a guy who thought I really thought I had something having 3 properties. And then I came to meet with you the first time that we kind of reconnected. I was like, what?
Well, I did too. Like when I first started out, I didn't actually know what I was doing. Like, and I had partners, like we had mutual friends I was partnered with. Right. So, and then I learned what I really should have been doing. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
But you always kind of had that bigger mindset, because, so this is like going back to, I don't know, 2000, maybe 2001. One of your best buddies ended up being my partner on the walking beat with the Windsor Police. Your house was just outside of our area, just close enough where we could, like, if it was snowing or if it was raining, we could go and like hide out. I don't work there anymore. I can say what the fuck.
Let's go down the rabbit hole.
Right?
So
I can say
tell
whatever
these stories.
So I could hide out in your house, but your house was the first one I had been involved with. I'd been in lots of houses through my job. However, it was the first person I knew that actually owned one of these things. So you guys lived in the basement, and then you rented to a bunch of university students up top. And I remember sitting there on your IKEA like chairs that we all had back in those days, and you explaining to me like kind of like the financials behind it. Like basically, these guys pay for us to live. They're paying my mortgage down. Blah blah blah. I'm like, wow, that's really smart. You know, I helped you guys out with, not that I'm very constructive friendly, but
keep it.
the next couple of houses, and then it's like, holy shit! Like now you own, you know, what like we said at the start, like 250 plus, which is like it's mind blowing. Like that's even if you're talking 20 years, you're buying 2.5 over 2. Like I'm trying. I'm getting out of my lane. I can't do math, but you're buying a lot of houses per year is what I'm saying. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was insane. I basically was at my lawyer's office every other day talking about buying something. I bought 7 in one day once. Like it was crazy. The paperwork was this high. And all I did was just sit there and sign things.
7 houses in one day.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It was pretty crazy. But back then, even my mindset only got us to 4 properties, and then we couldn't buy any more. So, and I didn't know enough to change my mindset to get to the next level. Like I didn't know how to get there. So and this is, I know we've talked about this at length, and you're not the first person that's come on. Like we love to have just successful people and growth-minded people come on here, and success is always like defined by the individual. It's not like what you have or what you own. It's really how you feel inside. Yeah. Right. And one thing I've come to know about entrepreneurs is we never really feel that. No. That you always kind of like, you know, not want more, but you want to do more than want more, really. So the book that kind of got you off on this track, and you've told me a million times, and other people have come on here and said to read it, and I'm finally getting into it, is Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So at which point do you read that? Is that before you and Janesy have these places, or is that... We actually read it after our first place. And that, I don't know if it affected Janesy as much as it affected me, but we both changed our mindset towards, well, let's get one more property every year after this until we can't any longer. And that's what we did. And Rich Dad Poor Dad just changes how you see money and how you think about money. And it doesn't actually give you the roadmap on how to do it after you're done. Like there's coaching involved after that point.
Right. So I know that you're big on coaching, and I mean, you pay me to coach you, and I kind of pay you. I give you.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
I pay you.
I pay you, and I give you money, and it goes round for us. But like, you're a big believer in coaching. Like, I think that's where like a lot of dudes in particular, like. Funny about this gym is I thought when I opened, you know, my background and my like kind of connections, I thought this place would be all guys, a bunch of guys that just want to get after. But women in general, in my opinion, have a way, like they want to grow, they want to improve, they constantly want to improve. Whereas guys, we get really, like, guys, I'm speaking generalities, obviously, get real comfortable and don't want to ask other people to teach us. And I think that's something that we as a gender need to break through with pride. And you talk about coaching all the time. So
I was one of those guys.
You invested countless time and money into this.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars into this. Yeah.
And hours.
17 weekends a year for 2 years. Not even weekends, 4-day weekends, like 12-hour days. And then 2 hours every night. Like just me on the computer, running numbers, crunching numbers. So I actually didn't do a deal for 2 years. I just learned as much as I could. I absorbed everything I could. I had a mentor, early on mentor, who, you know, we have weekly coaching calls, and he'd tell me exactly the moves I needed to make. And then as I grew, my mentors grew and my coaches grew. And so there's plateaus, and you have to level up each time, and you need a new coach. So, and I equate that to health. Like, it's the same thing. If I need to do a very specific exercise and I need my elbows in a very specific spot to get the maximum gains and not get injured, it's the same with you, right? Like, I can't just walk onto a bench press and say I know what I'm doing. Like, someone has to coach me to do that. And it's the same with real estate. Someone who's been there has to kind of tell you how to level up.
Right. I agree wholeheartedly. I've seen it through business too. Like, when I'm getting coached, we start with this coach, and a lot of times it starts like, I call them coach now, and maybe I didn't realize they were coaching me at the time. Like I said, the free coach through friendship and through just like general mentorship and people that care about you. And then you're like, oh, now I'm doing like a certain amount, and like this guy, I've kind of outgrown this coach, right? And then you go on to the next and the next, and like, now you're leveled up 4 or 5 coaches, and like, but you learn the value of that mentorship or coaching, whatever you want to call it, man.
Oh yeah. And it's their job to challenge me. It's not their job to hold my hand.
Yes.
Right? And that's the big thing a lot of people don't understand. My coach isn't there to do the work. And I would say 90% of people who get a coach don't understand that. Like, I still have to put in the work. So, and my coaches now, like my real estate coach, he's massive. He's in the 9 digits probably. He takes the time to talk to me, which is amazing, right? So, and now my coaches and my mentors are becoming my business partners and offering things. So you just got to prove yourself and level up. And it's just kind of it's a process. And that's the hard part. People won't do the process unless they're really motivated.
I find the same thing with coaching. It's like the best plan. It doesn't matter. Like it's real simple for us in this podcast to come back to like fitness, like because it's like a simple concept for people to like kind of grasp on. And it's like, if it doesn't matter what plan I put out, if you don't do it, it doesn't work. Like, I cannot move your limbs for you.
Mm-hmm.
Like I will if you make me, but
no, but you would walk up to me and say, hey, remove your head from your butt.
Right.
Do it
and
right.
That's what
what you need, right? And some people need that kind of motivation other than, a warm hug.
Right. And there's two kinds of people who, when I say, hey, get your head out of your ass, or when your business coach or your real estate mentor says that to you, hey, get your head out of your ass, you're not moving.
Yeah.
There's two type of people. There's the ones who say, like, who actually take a second. You may be offended at the start, but walk out of here, take a second, absorb it, and then be like, you know what? I am not doing that. Or the type who get offended and stay offended forever. And then that relationship done, and then growth stops.
I can tell you that in the beginning, like, my mental roadblocks were insane. Like, I could physically feel a roadblock in my brain. Like, why can't I process this? Why can't I learn this? So for 2 years, applying. And now it's just like a snowball effect. Now it's easier and easier and easier. So, but the beginning stages is so hard, like, especially mentally.
Yeah. Like, so are there points where you thought that, like, I mean, I guess too with us, it's like about being like, I've talked about this lots out here, and like a masculinity thing, like typically as young men, we're very bullheaded, very like, all in, charge in. Yeah. But also super easily defeated.
Oh, I was that guy.
Whereas like, I feel like as I've grown, like I'm not as fast into the fight, but I'm also, I'm defeated way, like, takes longer to be defeated. I don't know how that like mixes in, but you find the same?
If a challenge is presented to me, I probably would have walked away from it years ago. But now it's like, how do I either go through this or around it? There's no backing up. There's no giving up. It's just, I need to figure out a way around. And I didn't know the avenues to do that before. Like, no one had ever taught me these things. So I had to go through that process of learning.
So how did you, like, at what point did you, the first time, like, I found this with the coaching, was the first time I signed a paycheck for coaching. I'm like, what the? Yeah. Like, how did you find that? Like, I feel like finding a fitness coach is a lot easier than finding, like, a guy who can, like, help you learn how to do what you're doing.
Well, it was a leap of faith because I'm handing over all this money and I have no idea what the results are going to be because I've never been there, right? At least you go to a gym and you can see, oh, this person looks like they have some gains because of what's going on.
Right. You can see fitness. Yeah. Right? Yeah. I never thought of that.
I'm in a classroom with all people at the same level as me, and I know that 95% of these people are not going to do anything. They're just sitting here to learn. So it's just me and the person teaching, and then hopefully I can find someone who can teach me some more. So just networking and figuring out what works and what doesn't work, who's a waste of energy, and I'm sorry to say that for everyone listening, or who is like, I should be putting energy into this person because I can't get ahead with this conversation, but I can get ahead with this conversation. And that's kind of how it worked. And it was a leap of faith, 2 years of leap of faith, and then it just went.
Wow. So that kind of like brings me to circle back with the you can see it is like, so I don't know if I've ever expressed this to you. I'm just like, had I not met you, or I met you like obviously 25 years ago, but we not had this sit down 2.5, 3 years ago, this place, Danny and I, do not survive COVID. Well, from a financial standpoint, I don't think we could have. Maybe we survive, we're fighters, but not to the level that we did because of the investments I made and the advice I got from you. We were able to. You talked about business, like so this is a full circle back to what you said, is that businesses are great and you can make some money, But then shit went bad. It went
Yeah.
really bad, and doors were closed.
Mm-hmm.
Had I had been all in strictly on this business and not done things with you to create other opportunity. I mean, the idea with you was to, when we made these investments, was for that money to be for our future. But you know what? Thank God we needed it now.
Mm-hmm.
And we had income coming in from alternative strategies, I'll call them, that nobody in the traditional education system or traditional financial advising ever told me about.
Right.
And if that money wasn't coming in, like Danny and I would have had to make a decision to either not pay our staff, or, you know, because we would have needed the money for the business. So basically what I'm saying is we were able to pay our bills, continue to live decently comfortable, pay our team so that they could live comfortable, which ultimately is what will be the longevity. Had we not, we would have like not been able to pay the staff.
I'm gonna get emotional.
I would have been here every minute, and then at the end of this whole COVID reopening, we had no staff. We'd be done. We'd be dead.
Yeah.
Right, in terms of like energy and things. So people should really listen to this. But where I'm going with this was like hilarious. Is like, you know, you come in. Danny barely knows you. Yeah, she's met you a ton of times, but you don't know each other, right?
Yeah.
You come into our house, and basically we decide to invest a shit ton of money for us.
Yeah.
And you're like in cargo shorts and like flip flops and a tiger shirt, right? Like, which is like I can't see, you don't see the success in that, but you're super relatable, and it was amazing. So like I understand when you said like you can see fitness, like a guy comes in and you're like, oh yeah, he's pretty ripped, but like you came in, you didn't like express wealth, and I really feel like I would have been turned off if you came in like flaunting a Rolex and shit.
No,
but, like,
and usually when people are flaunting it, they don't have it. That's kind of the rule. Like my business and wealth coach, he'll come in here wearing all Under Armour, head to toe. He's worth hundreds of millions of dollars, but you would never know.
Irv coming in for a little sip of St. Patty's whiskey.
No one's
there.
leaving here sober. That's the rule.
Sorry, anyway.
But no, and that's kind of like the school of thought that I kind of have gravitated towards. Is like I'm not flashy. I've never talked about this anywhere. You're my first interview that's going out there into cyberspace. I've never done this. I'm very quiet. Like if people want to talk about money or real estate, I'll talk to them, but I won't bring it up. It won't be a conversation. And sometimes I'm sitting there, I'm overhearing conversations about people talking, and I have to like bite my tongue and just walk away, because everyone's an expert in real estate because they bought one house, right? So I have to like keep the conversation going in my own brain, saying, okay, well, if they ever come to me, I will say, do this, this, and this. But yeah, when I came to talk to you, when usually it takes a couple hours before you see it click, right? With Danny, it was like, she got it 15 minutes in. I'm like, oh, this is the fastest I've ever seen someone learn it and understand it and go to action I've ever seen. So talking to you guys was fun. I'm sorry I didn't come in with the Rolex and showing off, but
I mean, I appreciate that you
but
did it.
The thing too is like it's like when I see kids or people my age back home, because I don't live there anymore, but I still think of them as that 6-year-old kid, right? So when I'm walking in your house, you're probably thinking of me as the guy 25 years ago, right? So
right, yes,
yeah,
you're like frozen in time in
you
my,
are,
right?
Yeah.
Frozen in time at
which, by the way,
what's that bar called? Dick's?
Big Dick's.
Big Dick.
This is an anniversary. I don't know if you know this.
No,
I was gonna bring it up.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go.
The editor.
Censorship.
Let me crack that
Yeah,
Guinness.
we're
Okay.
gonna need it. So today is the anniversary of my first receiving a selfie on when camera phones just started coming out.
Oh boy.
My first selfie was from Tony Smith, and he sends me a text, sends me a picture. We had some student rentals. I don't know if you remember this.
I don't know.
And you sent me a picture like this with your shit-eating grin, and the students are having a keg party. There's like 1,000 students in my student rental.
I remember.
And all you did was you're standing on the road and you're smiling with your flip phone. Probably took you 15 minutes to type out the text.
the bar that
with the crowd behind you, and you say, "Hey, I'm at your house. What do you want me to do?" Do you remember this?
I do.
Do you remember my
this.
response? Do you remember what I said?
No, what was it?
I said, "Take it down, grab the kegs, and I'll meet you after your shift." So you did, but you didn't call me after the shit.
Yeah. Of course not. Of course not.
But it's our anniversary. My first selfie. It's probably 20 years ago.
Well, merry anniversary. Happy anniversary. Cheers
Thanks
to that.
Thanks for taking that down.
Cheers to that. So I remember going to one of your houses for a keg party. It might even been the same day. And they had taken the top panels out of the garage door so that they could smoke in there but not be cold. Right, so like the garage doors have basically like 6 panels, like a 3 or 2 up top. Anyways, the tops are gone, and this kid is like pigs, and he's yelling like. So I try to grab him over the door, but he scurries in. So Danny and she was brand new. She's working the partner. I'm on SWAT at this time, and I think I'm with like one of the bigger dudes on our team. We walk into this party, and I go, "Get me that kid." And they basically it's like Lord of the Flies, like they're funneling this kid down the stairs to me, and I grab this kid, throw him in cuffs, wheel him out the door to Danny, and I said, "Carry on, guys, have fun."
It was my house,
and they're like, "Yeah!" Right? Like I'm like, the point being is like,
cost me $20,000.
Most cops don't want to like be jerks to people, but why you gotta be a jerk to us? Yeah. Now I gotta do like this, Basically, the message was, act like this, we'll shut you down. Be responsible people and carry on. But hilarious question. So
my first selfie, it was of Tony Smith.
Selfie. Well, I thought it was gonna be a lot lower than my face, so I'm glad it was.
No, we can tell. We can go down
no,
that. We can tell those stories if you want.
Let's carry on.
But you know that house you're talking about in the basement. There was nights where like I had a king size bed in my bedroom, and I would like wake up in the middle of the night, and you guys would all be there playing Xbox, and for some reason Tiger Woods golf was like the biggest thing, and I had the longest drive on this thing, and everyone had to beat this record of this longest drive, right? And I'd wake up and I'd come out and it'd just be like Kevlar and like people fighting, and one night I woke up and you decided to take a nap in my bed. I didn't even know you were there. I wake up and Tony's over there with full boots, full uniform, just taking a 15-minute nap. Like, why did you decide my half of the bed was for you? Like,
you're so cuddly.
I know. I'm warm.
So cuddly. And look what so far down the road. It's you
also pepper sprayed me and tried to tase me.
Whoa. What can they do to me now? But yeah, we used to live a different life. Us cops finishing work at 3 a.m. or finishing work at 7 a.m. and going to your place and like. Having like margarita parties or St. Patrick's Day
That all happened while I was asleep.
Yes. You would. I have seen you in your underwear more than I've seen you in clothes. Still, and you come here every day because you would walk out like, guys, please. I feel like somebody put like a dead animal in your bed once too.
Maybe
I think
it was fun.
I think that happened, but
a dead animal. It was a horse's head. We were full Godfather.
I think it was a deer, but we couldn't find a horse.
No, the deer was
my
deer.
We couldn't find a horse, okay.
His name was Tito.
That's right. Oh, man. Oh, so many great times. And the tanning booth, I mean, I appreciate it. I always, I did well downtown thanks to you. I appreciate it. But let's circle back. So the thing that, like, let's talk about the 15 minutes where you said Danny got it, and like you and I had a little opportunity to speak before we had like I'm super grateful for my wife in the terms that like she really trusts me with things. Like it's like I don't have to like fight with her to do what I think are opportunities. Mm-hmm. So, but she got it quick, and I think like maybe you don't want to go into everything that you offer, I guess, but whatever you could provide our listeners with is like, how did you flip it? Like, I always saw my house as an asset. Like, maybe let's just go with that, and that's a simple way to start. You do whatever you want with that. You know what I'm getting at.
Is I have to show you the pattern of money. And there's and I tell everyone, there's a big conspiracy around money and how money works and wealth and why we're not taught how money works and the reasons why and all this stuff. And I kind of went through the history of it with you. Money's been manipulated since the dawn of time. Right, and you just need to know what side of it you're on. So you're either a sheep or you're a lion, and you need to figure out, or a wolf, or whatever you want to call yourself. But you're either in the herd or you're not.
Let's go with lions. Wolves. I'm not a big fan of wolf.
Okay, well then, lions then.
Okay.
Whatever you
want.
Lions.
We're lions.
I always say a lion. That's actually one of my mentors says lions don't go around telling people they're lions, which is why I showed up in cargo pants and a t-shirt. Right?
Exactly.
They don't need to. So, anyways, basically, I need to show you your income statement, your balance sheet. And I show you how money flows for sheep and then how money flows for lions, right? And it was right in front of you the whole time. You just couldn't see it. And then you see the greater conspiracy of how, why banks do what banks do, why, the money flows the way it flows, why investors tell you to invest a certain way. It's all to keep the rich richer, right? But once you start investing like the rich invest, the whole world just opens up. So, and that's the worst part. It's in front of you. You just can't see it, right? You didn't see it until I showed you, right?
No,
and then you're like, holy cow.
Absolutely, and that's something to think about for everybody listening, because there's probably people listening thinking right now, like, no, I'm doing very well, and you probably are, right? Like, but what you don't know, what you don't know.
Yeah.
Like, so you think you're doing great, and prior to this conversation with Kyle is, I think we had 2 or 3 properties. We had the Airbnb, which was cash flowing. The properties were cash flowing decently. Our business was doing well. We had retired and taken our pensions and invested it, and I've had my financial guy on here who does the more traditional side of things. He's doing great for us. He still does do great for us. And I thought we were doing great. And then we sit down with
now
you.
You're just doing better.
Yeah, exactly. And you point out, you're like, well, this, and this, you're not leveraged. Like, these aren't assets. These are costing you money. And I'm like, you're right. Like, why am I calling this an asset? Why do I think this is value? And you took that to another level, which I know in conversations we're having too, like, even that now needs to be taken to another level. And the funny thing is, and I don't want to sound lazy, but like, done this with a very little effort.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, outside of like a few fucking 35-minute conversations, the odd meeting between you and I, which is not terrible to do because usually much like this. And, sometimes signing some things, and the lawyer, I hate dealing with lawyers, but like doing that, outside of that, that's been my effort level. It's pretty wild. It's pretty wild what's available to everybody.
Well, there's 2 sides of money. There's active and passive. And I showed you passive. And passive is when your money is making money, not you have to trade time for money, which is a job, right? And those are the 2 different things. So I do active and passive in my life. So I'm active in my real estate investing because I'm the one out there trying to find the buildings and renovating them, blah, blah, blah. But I'm passive. I also invest like you, right? I take money and my money makes me money, which is how I was able to retire. And I started investing 5 years ago, part-time. So it's very attainable. It's just, you can't see it. And that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know where I was going with that, but I went somewhere with it. I hope somebody learned something.
No, I think so. Like, I think honestly, like, I don't know Irv's finances, but like, I think like you could sit down with him and you would be able to teach you, and you're like, what? Like,
yeah.
And like, you're like, I can actually add. So let's just open this up, and I don't want to talk about details of money. However, like, within 1 month of sitting down with this guy, my mortgage was being paid for.
Yeah,
I was bringing enough money to pay my mortgage. Somebody else was paying my mortgage. I was dumbfounded by that alone. As like, for most households in like, let's say mid to upper class, your mortgage is probably your biggest nut, which is like, for those people in business, that's what we're talking about, expenses.
Right.
So my biggest nut was now being paid for.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, going back to what I said about the business being us being able to operate, making the best decisions for our people, not out of desperation, was able to happen. Which is where business, like, the wealthy people, like, I always take that. I've used this line that you've given me, and I'm sure you learned it from somebody else, is like, if you want to be wealthy, study what wealthy people do. If you want to be jacked, look at what the jacked guy is doing. Like, the same thing. If you want to be a drunk, look at what the drunk's guy doing. Like that's a simple way. It's not envy. It's manipulating or looking at the best qualities and habits they're performing. That's what was wild to me. It was like, I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, we just, without doing anything, and with a little bit of risk, but not a great amount of risk, we're able to pay our mortgage.
Well, I think you hit 2 things there. One is, a lot of people think, without sitting down and saying, like, it doesn't sound correct. Like, someone else is paying your mortgage.
It sounds like a lie.
Sounds like voodoo. It sounds like a lie. And it's not. It's real. And we do this with lawyers and mortgage brokers, and this is how wealthy people do it. It's not our nature to know this, right? So someone has to show us. And that's the biggest thing. And then the other thing is, I can't remember where I was going with it again, but I'm gonna have another beer.
So people show us how to do this.
Yeah.
And
wealthy people have to teach you how to be wealthy. You can't. You have a 96% chance of failure if you try to do it on your own.
Really?
Yeah. And there's studies on this stuff. Even when I sat down with you and I said, no, you need to draw this, like old school pen and paper, because you have an 83% chance of failure if you don't write it down. if you don't have a notebook and a pen and you physically draw it.
Yes, and old school still myself. I still walk around with a notebook and a pen.
Yeah.
You did our first 6-week transformation where we forced people to write.
Yeah,
log.
that was the best one.
Like, I'm telling you guys, like, writing shit down. I know the apps are convenient, but writing shit down, there's a different connection between your thoughts and your, what you've written down, and the ability to reconnect to them in the future, which is, like, I find wild. And
I have more notebooks now than I did my whole scholastic career, like in the last few years.
Scholastic career.
Yeah.
Your scholastic
which was
career.
Recess.
When I first
Gym
met
class.
Kyle, their living room on Ranking or Randolph, whatever, somewhere in West. Like, no, not even then. Like, I'm talking before then.
Oh, yeah, that whole.
Yes. You guys had, like,
black
triple-decker couches. So we could sit the most amount of people in the living room. I remember sleeping on the top deck, like thinking, like, where the hell am I?
Do you remember the ceiling with the stucco and it was like stalactites?
Yes.
You had to wear we had a Jaffa helmet up there just so he didn't come down as mincemeat.
Exactly what I remember.
That was not engineered very well. I think we stuff a waterbed under there.
Oh my God. So many funny times with so many amazing times. So I think, like, what a lot of this comes down to, and maybe you can help to debunk this, is like there's just so many scams being thrown at people, right? And like when I first sat down with you, like, a lot of it sounded like a pyramid scheme. It sounded like with a lot of people, and that's like, and now here I am, and now I sound like the guy who's the next down in the pyramid scheme, because I have other friends who invest with you or similar people to you because the conversation I had with you, I've passed on to them, and probably they had the same apprehension, and now the people they talk to have the same apprehension. How do we debunk that?
It's all education. So, and people throw out terms like pyramid scheme, and they don't actually understand how a pyramid scheme works, right? It's just because they heard it somewhere and they understand money moves and someone's getting paid. But like, the way we do things is like, you don't write a check directly to me, right? You write it to a lawyer, or you write it to, and everything's vetted and contracts,
checks and balances,
and it's secured against real estate. So worst case scenario is, the downside is you own a piece of real estate, right? So I invest only in 4 areas, and each area has little to no downside, and the downside is the risk if it fails. So the risk, if, like, when I invest in someone else's, say someone's doing a flip and I give them $100,000 to do this flip, the downside is if he doesn't complete the flip, I own the house, and then I complete the flip and I sell it, right? It's not like stocks or Bitcoin or whatever. Like, you invest $100,000 in Bitcoin 4 months ago, you're worth half now. So I'm very high reward, low risk, no downside. And I've only ever found 4, maybe 5 investment strategies that work. And those are the only 4 that I go into. And I didn't know this 10 years ago. And it just kind of catapults you that you're always safe and secure. Like, the worst case scenario is still the best case scenario. So even like stock options, right? Worst case scenario is you own the stock. Like, you don't lose the value of your stock. So just things like that.
Yeah, and like,
I know you're talking about stock options in one of your podcasts, so I brought it back up.
No, I did, and I'll talk further about it. And honestly, I've kind of taken a punch in the mouth lately on it. But like, at the same time, I end up owning what I think are blue chip stocks,
right?
Which at some point should be worth a little bit more. But I mean, arguably, if one of our deals went bad, I would maybe be in a better position.
You would be
like you know what I mean? Especially had this happen in the last 1 year, where like things have like bolted. Like, I know, like, even you've talked about, like, the environment dictates your actions a lot of times, and now it's time, like you said at the start of this podcast, where you're selling things off because, like, why not? Like, right, like,
well, I have a math equation. If I can make more money selling it now than renting it over the next 10 years. So let's say I sell a property and I make $50,000. If I can make more money earning 10% on $50,000 than I can owning that roof, that toilet, that tenant, all the maintenance issues, all the management problems, then it's gone. See you later. We're going passive. We're going from active to passive, and I don't have to worry about any of the other problems. I don't have to worry about the 1 in 100-year storm that comes once a year. I don't have to worry about any of this stuff.
Yeah.
It's just check comes.
Yeah, with our Airbnb, I had great partners on that, and thank God that we had a good conversation with you, and it was like the same thing. It was like, oh my God, we can make, I think it was 34% we made in like 18 months. And you're like, how long would it take us to make that in Airbnb, like rent, for lack of a better word? Fucking long time, man. A long time without the roof going, without Lake Erie swallowing the back deck,
right?
Without anything, and not to mention the headache of just like, I mean, the headaches dealing with tenants or dealing with members. It's like, you know, like it's not like not every member's a bad member, not every tenant's a bad tenant. But like it
affects you, right?
Yeah, and just the day to day, I call them headaches, but it's like day to day business. Like it's like that's like 15 minutes to change this or to sell that.
But now you're earning more by doing nothing.
Right. It's wild. It's wild if you really think about it. I think like flipping the script on traditional education versus this. And do you see a place? I know that's kind of, which is one thing I love about you, man, is like I don't know, I wasn't around you as much, you know, like most people do. We kind of drift apart during the middle part of like your adulthood, and then kind of come back together with people that like-minded as you get older, like reconnecting with Irv and so many other people. And well, like what you guys throwing me off.
Have another whiskey.
Have another whiskey or St. Paddy's Day. So at what point does your like kind of mindset shift? And I know mine did, of I'm trying to do this for me and mine, like you know, you and Barb and your future or your parents, whatever it is, and as opposed to like you're trying to help friends and family. Like,
so I had the hardest time mind shifting than most people. One, my dad was an accountant. I mean, he probably still is an accountant. It's just he's retired now. And my mom,
super traditional.
He knows every penny. He knows how much change is in the couch. Like he knows everything.
Irvin.
And my mom was a kindergarten teacher. Still is a kindergarten teacher. I don't know how it works when you retire, but that's how it works. And they were very like, this is the educational system. This is how accounting works. There's processes. This is how the world works. This is how banking works. And they passed that down to me. And then I got a job at the university, working at the university. So now I'm thinking, you know, higher education. Everyone needs to do this. This is the greatest thing ever, blah, blah, blah. And then one day I'm just sitting there thinking, like I said, I'm trading time for money. And why am I not getting, I'm ruining relationships because I'm working all the time, thinking I'm doing the right stuff. And I wasn't. I was doing all the wrong moves. And then one day I saw, I was reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I saw a banner ad for educational system that he sponsored. And I just signed up for a weekend event. I went. It sounded like voodoo. It sounded like a scam. But, you know, it was like, cost me $600 to get to the next level. Let's see what happens. And then it just kept on progressing. And then next thing you know, I'm sitting in Vegas. I'm winning awards. And I'm sitting on stage. And Kathy Ireland, my high school sweetheart supermodel, is presenting me an award. I'm like, if I told this story, I don't feel like I belong in the story. Like it's someone else's story, but it's what happened. It was kind of fun.
It is so wild to think about that. Like that brings me back. It's actually in my notes. It's something I wanted to bring up. So Kyle and I, like, you know, we were close. We spent so much time together. And then what happens in the police department is you kind of get like shifted around, and then like your schedules don't match, and so your buddies and my buddy, like, and me, like, we weren't working together anymore, and like you just kind of you grow apart, and things happen, kids and marriages and this and that.
Yeah.
But then you know, we always kept in touch, like a message here, a message there, bump into each other. Always seeing your wife, because she's a booze rep, and I'd see her everywhere, right? Because I used to have a little bit of booze problem. So anyways, and you stay in touch, and then all of a sudden you come back into my life full-fledged with this goal. So this is the oddest, to this point, the oddest thing. I've had weird goals come across, like I want to do this, or I want to have this body. And Kyle comes into the gym, he's like, I want to, with his wife, which was hilarious, I want to look good because I'm getting an award from Kathy Ireland. Can you make me look good? And I think your wife is basically like, yeah, Basically, he's got the hall pass for this one, and we want to make him look as ripped as possible, right?
As if Kathy Ireland even knows
Right.
who I am. But yeah,
I think
hall
that's
pass.
why she confidently gave you the hall pass, but I don't know.
So nice of her. So
It's
nice of
the
her.
hilarious thing. Watch you like get like in great shape, go down there and earn this an award, and that's kind of when I realized I'm like, wow, like I knew you were doing well. I didn't realize the vastness of how great you're doing, man. I'm super
Thank you,
proud
man.
of you as like your friend, and
Thank
like
you.
to see like for the first house to like now being involved in some of your investing and how it's like helped Danny and I like make it, and a lot of other people to do like do better or to survive or to allow them to like the same thing that you just did, like leaving the city of Windsor
Yeah.
and not work for the man. Like we say retired in our
Yeah.
40s, but we're not fucking retired, really.
Well, retirement's a weird
Yeah.
word, right? It's
hear
more
it.
like you have enough saved up and invested that you can bridge yourself to get to the pension, which is, I probably was there a while ago. It's just, cutting the cord and going off on my own. Plus, I was building a house and I really wanted to qualify for a mortgage. And so retirement to me is just, I no longer need a job to pay all my bills. So that's freedom, right? And now I can really focus on what I really want to do. And the first week I retired, the deals just were, everyone says there's no deals out there. The deals were flying at me, like condo developments and investing in Arizona and Texas and just crazy amount of stuff that I couldn't see because I was wasting 8 hours of my day in a cubicle at the city, not willing to cut the cord early. But yeah, there was and it's just levels that you have to go through and your brain has to adjust. And I think I'm a little more thick than most people, so it takes me a little bit longer. So
I don't know what that.
I blame concussions, but
I mean, there's some serious like we're talking bandwidth. I like to say that a lot. Bandwidth. Like the second we left the police department, Danny and I, like the amount of bandwidth to focus here was significantly more, and all of a sudden this business grows, but then your mindset shifts again. And for me, it was looking around and being like, man, like I really like Nikki she has done everything for us. This place doesn't exist without us. I don't
who,
want.
by the way, worked for me first.
Yeah, at the Firkin, right?
Yeah.
And
The best.
the best. Everybody loves
Nikki,
Nikki.
the bestest.
And I just like I need to do more for her. It's not about like making myself more money. Like really, like I guess some of the things I've done have made it. But I want her to here forever. She's part of this place, and I needed to do more to be able to do that. And you bridged that gap, and you talked about not being able to. Once we retired, Danny and I, and it didn't matter if I had the cash to pay for the house.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't get it. The bank will not give it to you because they think like I can take my money and just like go to the casino tomorrow within their right, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
However, now it was like instead of like focusing on that problem or being like well, I'm done, I'm euchred. This is what it is. I'm gonna work at this gym every day, 60 hours a week, and Nikki's gonna have to just make what she makes. Like and if she quits, she quits. There are solutions.
Oh yeah, and
There
they're
are
right in front of you.
solutions.
You just,
And
you just can't see them.
Yes, and that
Yeah.
was a simple conversation.
Yeah.
And all I said was like, Kyle, hey, what are you doing here?
Yeah,
And you're like, man, I'd love to show you. And
yeah.
most people who are doing well would love to show you. Like,
Yeah, you were one of the first people I ever showed. Like, I'd say you're like top 4.
top 4, number 1 in your
Like,
heart.
No, always. I mean, come on. I have a
F
tattoo.
you, Drew.
I have a tattoo right here.
I have a tattoo. I have a tattoo. So on that note, I want to take a minute. We were supposed to do this HQ focus.
Let's focus.
This
Let's HQ.
podcast, yeah, we got to dial it in. We forgot our train of thought. I haven't drank on this podcast forever, by the way.
Yes.
But it's good to do this one of the
Broke
first ones
that.
back. But HQ Nutrition is our sponsors to every podcast, and I am proud to be part of that team. Focus is the best on the market. I think like if you've had concussions like Kyle and I think it's a great it's got your all kinds of things in there, a bunch of vitamin B stuff, and that will help you to kind of like dial it in when you need to. So go to the website and you can use code Tango15. We're also sponsored by Murray Insurance. Every podcast, Ian and Kara Murray, they're garage gym OGs out in Kingsville. They're experts in their industry. They got over a combined 100 years of experience in their office. They have the best customer service and claims concierge service with exclusive to their clients. They are a one-stop shop for everything to protect you. So go see them, give them a call, or you can text them at 519-733-2331 or check them out at murrayinsurance.ca. We're also sponsored by Half Baked Tanning. who helped me to develop my olive tone from the point that I was a young man running the streets of Willette Avenue. So, anyways, man, it's been so awesome having you on here. I think you're an amazing guy, and I think you have a lot to offer. I'm really looking forward to you coming out and talking to the tactical groups and helping me to kind of like blow up Blast and to be involved in some of the things you got going forward. If you want to share anything that you got going on, or maybe opportunities or ways people can get in touch with you, now's the time, man.
Well, I think the message that needs to be set is that, like, to look within and see what your financial picture looks like. It's hard. Like, it's very hard. And a lot of times you don't want to see what's actually there. And then a lot of times you can't see what is actually there, right? And to change your mindset, everyone wants to do it. Everyone's frustrated with how much money they have or don't perceive they think they have. And you have to break through that barrier. And someone has to show you how to break through that barrier. So I'm always big on the coaching that, you know, it sounds like it's a weakness, but no, it's a strength. If you need a coach, you get a coach, and then you level up. So I think everyone needs to try to move in that direction. And I want everyone to know what I know. It's not like I'm holding it back, right? Like, I really want people to be successful. I really want people to have that anxiety go away, like living month to month, like essentially what you can change your life and add an income to your home without doing anything, like just by rearranging your finances, right? And I'm starting a new kind of, I guess, a fund where now people, instead of investing in me, they can invest with me. And we're going to be buying up some stuff in the States, and people will own a piece of that building with me. So it's not like the old days where I see an opportunity, I'm going to go after it, someone can invest with me and make lots of money. It's now you're going to make lots of money and you're going to own a piece of it. So, and that's the romantic side of real estate, is everyone wants to own something. And a lot of people don't want to sell something even though they should, right? Just like the cottage, right? It was romantic and there's emotions attached to it. So that's it. And we're moving forward. We're now doing bigger stuff where it's a bigger building, and we try to now create experiences with the buildings instead of just, here's a 5-plex, let's rent it out. Now it's like, here's a really cool building that we acquired. We're going to do an experience with this building so everyone in the community can enjoy it. And that's kind of the process that we're going in. So, and we're looking big into the States. And I say we, it's really just myself and my team. It's not like I have a partner or anything like that. So that's it. If anybody really wants to know, I'm on Instagram. I'm Empire Maker. That was the name of a horse. That wasn't the name of.
I think it's a sick.
It
name,
was a
man.
race horse that I worked on a thoroughbred farm when I was in high school. It was the name of a race horse.
You were the guy that did the.
Yeah. That was
inserted the leather sleeve.
When you were talking about really horrible jobs with your last guest, I'm like, I got him. I can beat him all day long when it comes to horrible jobs. But anyways, that's it. If Empire Maker Instagram, I'm on Facebook. My company's called McDonald & Co. We're just about to launch the website. I've tried to stay as quiet as I can. Unfortunately, you've outed me. So now,
oh man,
now the world knows. But yeah, and if anyone ever wants to sit down, like, I'm always game. There's a weird. I work in science. I work in math and percentages, but there's a weird karma in the universe. Every time I help someone, something comes to me. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it. No one's ever explained it to me, but yeah, like even after I sat down and talked with you, I bought a building. Like a week later, the guy called me and asked me if I wanted to buy it. So it
works out. It is true. Out. There's some juju in this world that like helps to spread things around. Yeah. And I think like you make some great points about like, you know, almost everybody like, you know, has the ability to just make a couple of switches to make a significant amount of money. And
especially what's happened in this region in the last 2 years. Yeah,
and I don't know how to explain it. Like, I don't want to sound like, you don't pay me to do this. I invest with you and do well, and that's why I believe it. I do well in my circumstance. But I just like think that my accountant, who's a great person, thought it was crazy. My lawyer thought it was crazy. Yeah. You know, my parents, when they first heard, they all thought I was crazy.
Right.
When I said this is the things that I'm doing with with this knowledge that I gleaned from college. College, definitely not from fucking college. But anyways, and then now, fast forward 2 years, these same people are like, how do I do this? Right, and that's the mindset that you have to have, is that when you're doing something different. Like when I left the police department, people thought I was crazy, but now people are calling me and saying like, how could I do that? Right, and like. Because
you're not a sheep anymore.
Right, like exactly. When you step away, you're going to be criticized.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's for the right. And I would say like half-baked tanning was probably not your best investment.
No, it was a horrible investment.
Fucking bar I bought.
But I thought it was a great investment.
Bar I bought on Chatham Street, terrible investment. Like you got to make some fucking mistakes, but you're not going to do that from a place of complete safety. There is risk at all times.
Yeah.
Mitigate the risk, evaluate the risk. And then when you go, man.
Well, and that was kind of the driving force, is that I didn't think I could make another mistake. I didn't think I could afford to make another mistake, right? Time, money, whatever. And that's why all the investments now have very low downsides. And they're out there. It's just, you're not going to know about them unless someone tells you.
Yeah. And like we covered earlier, the downside might actually be better than the upside. Like, at the end of the day, and I think with a lot of traditional stuff, upside, very low.
Yeah.
Floor, pretty decent floor, very low ceiling. With Kyle, I think like what my experience so far has been same floor, if not higher floor, and way higher ceiling.
Yeah.
I mean, so if you look at things like that, you always want to raise the floor, raise the floor. And if you can touch the ceiling at some point, touch it.
No, there is no ceiling.
Right.
Like it keeps on going higher.
Right.
Because
you can only hang on the ceiling. You stand on the floor. Right.
Right.
So I think that's a great way to end it.
Okay.
St. Patty's.
Cheers.
Cheers to our anniversary selfie.
Here you go.
First text message. That's how old we are for
Irish
young people
person.
listening. Cheers, Irv. And that's a wrap.
Irv had a better.
Now's the time to do more and be more.